Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, February 6, 2019. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Hump Day, folks. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice here, price continues to trend higher. No signs of weakness just yet. This thing continues to push toward the 2800 level. And again, as I've mentioned before, if price was able to reclaim 2600, then that would suggest a continuation toward 2800. Now, while a pullback could come, any pullback, even as deep as 2600, could still be bought for a continuation higher. So the path continues to be up, even if we start to see some sort of weakness, which we really haven't all year, but we will at some point. But again, any pullback, even if it's a shallow one, could still be a great buying opportunity for a continuation higher. Volatility has clearly dropped. Right now, let's just drop this down to a one-day right here. What you'll see is, again, very narrow day today, 32% of average. It has a 10.5 point range today, and it's been averaging 32 points per day on a 10-day basis, 32 points per day. That's very important because just a month ago, this thing was averaging over 100 points per day, and now here we are at a third of that price range. So very, very quiet price action overall. And again, uptrending price action until proven otherwise. So still headed toward 2800 with very quiet price ranges right now. If you look at the NQ, very similar price action right now, trading 28% of average. It has a 33 point range today, and 116 points is what it averages per day. And again, that's down quite a bit from where it had been. This is 116 points or whatever. If you go back over here, I mean, this is quite a bit more, where you're averaging around 250 points, right? 260 points per day. Right now, we're at 116, and at the very moment, trading 33 points of range. So very, very narrow. Again, given the uptrend, any pullback, even if it's a shallow one, could still be bought. If it's a deeper one, could still be bought for a continuation higher. Ever since this price range was able to reclaim 6400, the idea was that we were likely going to test somewhere between 71 and 7200, and we're very close to that now, trading over 7K at the moment. Again, any pullback still offers an opportunity to push this thing to the edge at 7200 down the road. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil over here. Here's a look at crude oil. Now, crude oil is very interesting, very similar price action to the ES and the NQ. They've been much more correlated here in the last 4 or 5 months. But what you see right now is, here's the 5-day range that we've been watching, right? That 5-day range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very important right there. It's a narrow, well, not super narrow, but it's a tight 5-day range. Well, here this morning, price broke down below the 5-day lows into the trigger zone and is now back above those 5-day lows. Not super energetic in its rejection just yet, but that's the early signs of what could be a continuation higher. This pullback after this move up, bought, right? This pullback here, bought. This pullback here inside the zone, does it get bought again? It certainly could, and again, failed new low today could be the key. So somewhere around 53.40, maybe even as low as 53.10 could be an opportunity to defend a pullback intraday for a continuation up, and that continuation could extend over the next 1 to 5 days. Now, if price fails to hold at, the 5-day lows, that could turn into quite a bit of weakness here, as this thing could, return even lower. So right now, very good buy the dip type of opportunity developing at the moment. Failed new low, and bulls need to keep those 5-day lows intact in order to have the next 1 to 5 days be up. Very similar in gold as well. This one here has pulled back into the pivot range for the month. You can see the uptrending behavior, a nice little pullback here we've seen. Not a huge pullback. It's very shallow, right? Very shallow pullback, but it is inside the pivot range. This pullback has not tested the 8-period average yet, and we have an inside day right here. Inside day, 1, 2, 3. days here was very, very narrow. Obviously, today's not over yet, but that is clearly an inside day there, and that could provide some big-time breakout opportunities here very soon, likely to the upside. But again, this trend has been so strong, I mentioned before, even if we drop down toward 1300, still a buying opportunity. So right now, gold again setting up for another buy the dip opportunity. Perhaps now on an upside break, but even if it came down toward 1300, it could offer a buying opportunity as well. So keep an eye on gold. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well. I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.